Winners do not wake up and hope for a great day. They do not rely on luck, talent, or even motivation. They push themselves every single day. They do not wait to feel ready. They do not wait for inspiration. They do not wait for the perfect moment. They create the perfect moment. They generate their own momentum. They demand more from themselves than anyone else ever could. Most people go through life at half speed. They wake up, do what is required, and stop as soon as it gets uncomfortable. They work hard when they feel like it, but as soon as resistance shows up, they slow down. Winners do the opposite. They push past their comfort zone. They do the extra work. They stay disciplined when no one is watching. And because of that, they get results most people never will. There is no magic formula, no shortcut, no secret trick that makes success easy. The difference between those who win and those who don't is this: winners push themselves every single day, no matter what. They push themselves when they are tired. They push themselves when they don't feel like it. They push themselves when the excuses start creeping in. They do not negotiate with themselves. They do not give themselves an easy way out. And because of that, they grow stronger, faster, more resilient. They condition their mind to expect greatness, and they train their body to handle pressure. They force themselves to take action, even when their mind is screaming at them to stop. Pushing yourself is not about working yourself into the ground. It is not about exhaustion. It is about demanding more from yourself than anyone else ever could. It is about raising your standards to a level where average is no longer acceptable. It is about training yourself to take action, even when the feeling isn't there. Because winners know something most people don't. You will never always feel like doing it. Most people wait for motivation. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until they are in the mood. But that is a trap. That is why most people never reach their full potential, because they are waiting for a feeling that is unreliable, inconsistent, and weak. Winners do not wait. They act. And by acting, they create their own motivation. And this is why pushing yourself every day is so important, because it is not just about today. It is about conditioning yourself for life. It is about training your mind and body to show up and perform at a high level, no matter the circumstances. It is about building the kind of discipline that does not break under pressure, the kind of mental toughness that keeps moving forward when most people would quit. Every time you push yourself, you are sending a message to your subconscious that you are stronger than your excuses. Every time you push yourself, you are proving to yourself that you are not like everyone else. Every time you push yourself, you are reinforcing the identity of a winner. And eventually, it becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. So the question is, are you pushing yourself every day? Or are you holding back? Are you training yourself to rise above? Or are you giving in to the easy way out? Are you sharpening your mind? Or are you letting yourself slip into comfort? Because every single day, you are either building your discipline or you are weakening it. You are either moving forward or falling behind. There is no in-between. Winners understand this. They understand that success is built in the moments where no one is watching. It is built in the small daily choices to go further, work harder, stay longer, and give more. It is built in the decision to push past the point where most people stop. So how do you do it? How do you push yourself every day like winners do? How do you build the kind of mindset that refuses to quit? How do you train yourself to take action, even when you don't feel like it? This is not about motivation. It is not about hype. It is about real, practical methods to develop unshakable discipline, unbreakable focus, and an unstoppable drive to push yourself every single day. Because once you understand how to do that, you become dangerous. And when you become dangerous, when you push yourself at a level most people will not, you start winning at a level most people never will. Pushing yourself starts with one thing. You must stop negotiating with yourself. Winners do not give themselves options. They do not wake up and ask, should I do it today? They do not spend time debating whether they feel like putting in the work. They remove the question entirely. It is not if, it is when. It is not should I, it is I will. Most people lose the battle before they even begin. The moment their alarm goes off, they start negotiating. Maybe I need more sleep. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. Maybe I should take it easy today. And just like that, they let their feelings decide their future. But feelings are unreliable. Feelings are weak. Winners understand that success does not come from how you feel. It comes from what you do consistently over time. The first battle you must win every day is against your own mind. If you give yourself an option, you give yourself an excuse. The mind will always choose the path of least resistance. It will always look for the easy way out. It will always try to protect you from discomfort. But that protection is the very thing that keeps you small, the very thing that keeps you from growing, the very thing that separates winners from everyone else. The moment you decide to stop negotiating with yourself, everything changes. When the alarm goes off, you get up. When it's time to work, you work. When the resistance shows up, you push through. Because discipline is built in the moments where you do what you said you would, even when you don't feel like it. And the more you do that, the stronger you become. The second key to pushing yourself every day is understanding the power of momentum. Winners know that action creates energy. Motion creates motivation. The reason most people struggle to push themselves is because they're waiting to feel ready before they take action. But winners do not wait. They start moving. And by moving, they generate the energy they need to keep going. Think about the hardest part of a workout. It's not the middle, it's the start. The hardest part of writing a book is not finishing it, it's starting it. The hardest part of any challenging task is the moment before you begin. Because that's when the mind tries to stop you. That's when the excuses are the loudest. That's when resistance is at its peak. But the moment you start moving, everything gets easier. Winners train themselves to take action before they feel like it. They do not sit around trying to get in the mood. They do not wait for inspiration. They start moving, and the inspiration follows. And once they build momentum, stopping is no longer an option. Because when you get used to taking action, when you develop the habit of pushing forward every single day, it becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. The third key to pushing yourself like winners do is learning to be comfortable with discomfort. Most people avoid pain. They avoid struggle. They avoid anything that feels difficult. But winners chase it. They understand that growth only happens in discomfort. Strength is built in struggle. Resilience is developed through resistance. Confidence is created by stepping into the unknown and proving to yourself that you can handle it. If you want to push yourself to a higher level, you must train yourself to seek out the hard things instead of avoiding them. If it scares you, do it. If it challenges you, embrace it. If it feels uncomfortable, it means you are in the right place. Because every time you do something difficult, you expand your capacity. You become mentally tougher. you become stronger. You develop the ability to handle more. And the more you can handle, the more successful you become. The problem is, most people see discomfort as a sign to stop. Winners see it as a sign to keep going. Most people feel resistance and slow down. Winners feel resistance and speed up because they understand that on the other side of discomfort is growth, power, and success. The fourth key to pushing yourself every day is raising your standards. Winners demand more from themselves than anyone else ever could. They do not accept average effort. They do not settle for good enough. And they hold themselves to a higher standard every single day. Most people set the bar too low. They do just enough to get by, just enough to stay comfortable, just enough to avoid failure. But winners raise the bar so high that even their worst day is better than most people's best day. And because they hold themselves to that standard, they push themselves in ways most people never will. Think about the best athletes in the world, the best performers, the best entrepreneurs. They don't just do what is required, they do more. They put in extra hours. They study harder. They train longer. They demand excellence from themselves, not because someone else is watching, but because that is who they are. And the final key to pushing yourself every day like winners do, developing the habit of finishing. Most people start strong but fade when things get hard. They begin a workout but quit when it burns. They set a goal but give up when it takes longer than expected. They commit to change but return to their old habits when it gets uncomfortable. Winners finish what they start. They push through when others stop. They do not allow themselves to quit, not because they always feel like it, but because they refuse to be the kind of person who gives up. They train themselves to complete every rep, finish every task, and follow through on every commitment. And because of that, they build an unshakable belief in themselves. They develop the kind of confidence that comes from knowing they can handle anything. And that is the ultimate difference. Most people need external motivation. They need someone to push them, someone to remind them, someone to hold them accountable. Winners do not need that. They push themselves. They hold themselves accountable. They have built the kind of internal discipline that does not rely on outside forces. They own their results. They own their success. They own their future. And if you want to win, if you want to separate yourself from the rest, you must become that person. The kind of person who does not make excuses. The kind of person who does not wait for motivation. The kind of person who pushes themselves every single day. Pushing yourself is not about speed. It is about consistency. It is not about doing something hard for a day or a week. It is about showing up and demanding more from yourself every single day. Winners understand this. They know that results do not come from random bursts of effort. They come from relentless consistency over time. Most people can work hard for a short period. They can stay disciplined for a few weeks. They can push themselves when they are excited, when the goal is fresh, when the motivation is high. But as soon as the excitement fades, as soon as the work gets repetitive, as soon as progress slows down, they stop pushing. They let the excuses creep in. They tell themselves, I'll get back to it tomorrow. And tomorrow turns into never. Winners do not operate like this. They do not rely on motivation. They rely on habits. They do not depend on inspiration. They depend on discipline. And that discipline is built through repetition. You do not push yourself once and call it success. You push yourself every day until it becomes automatic, until it becomes part of who you are, until it no longer requires effort, because it is just what you do. And here is something most people never understand. Pushing yourself gets easier the more you do it. The first time you demand more from yourself, it feels impossible. Your mind fights you. Your body resists. Every part of you wants to stop. But if you push through, if you refuse to quit, you become stronger. And the next time, it's a little easier. And the time after that, easier still. Until one day, what once felt difficult is now normal. What once seemed impossible is now your standard. And that is the power of consistency. That is why winners push themselves every day, because they know that every rep, every effort, every small decision is training them for the next level. Now, here's the truth. Most people don't want to hear. Pushing yourself is not supposed to feel good in the moment. Growth is uncomfortable. Progress is painful. If you are always comfortable, you are not growing. If everything feels easy, you are not pushing hard enough. Most people think winners have some kind of superpower, that they enjoy the struggle, that they love waking up early, working harder, pushing past exhaustion. But that's not true. They feel the same resistance as everyone else. The only difference is they do it anyway. They lean into the discomfort instead of avoiding it. They train themselves to thrive in difficult situations. And because of that, they become unstoppable. If you want to build this mindset, you must change the way you see discomfort. Instead of avoiding it, seek it out. Instead of running from it, run toward it. Every time you push yourself past your limits, you are expanding your capacity. You are proving to yourself that you can handle more. You are reprogramming your mind to see challenges not as something to fear, but as something to embrace. The reason winners keep winning is because they love the challenge. They love the grind. They love the process. Not because it's easy, but because they have trained themselves to respect the struggle, to see effort as a privilege, to understand that growth only happens when you force yourself beyond what feels comfortable. So the next time you feel resistance, the next time you want to quit, the next time your mind tells you that's enough for today, push harder. Do one more rep, stay 5 more minutes, take one more step. Because that extra effort, that's where the growth happens. That's where winners are made. And if you do this every day, if you make pushing yourself your default, you will become unstoppable. You will develop the kind of mental toughness that does not break under pressure. You will build the kind of discipline that does not fade over time. And you will separate yourself from everyone else because most people are unwilling to do what you now expect from yourself. Now, here's something critical. You must be intentional about how you push yourself. It is not just about working harder. It is about working smarter. It is about challenging yourself in the right ways so that you grow, improve, and get stronger every single day. Pushing yourself does not mean doing random hard things. It means setting clear targets. Winners do not just work hard. They work hard towards something specific. They have goals. They track their progress. They measure their growth. They do not just put in effort for the sake of effort. They make sure every ounce of energy is moving them forward. So ask yourself, what am I pushing myself toward? Am I training for something? Am I developing a skill? Am I building something meaningful? Because effort without direction is wasted energy. You must have a purpose behind your effort, a reason behind your discipline, a vision that makes the struggle worth it. And once you have that vision, once you know exactly what you are pushing for, you must protect it. Winners do not let distractions pull them away from their goals. They do not let other people's opinions shake their focus. They do not waste time on things that do not move them forward. Because here is another truth. Not everyone will understand why you push yourself so hard. Most people are comfortable with average. Most people will look at your work ethic and say, that's too much. Most people will try to pull you back down to their level. You must be strong enough to ignore them. You must be focused enough to stay locked in. You must be obsessed enough with your own growth that you refuse to let anything or anyone slow you down. Because winners do not fit in. Winners do not live like everyone else. Winners do not accept the same standards as the rest of the world. And that is why they get results that most people will never see. So ask yourself, am I really pushing myself? Am I giving everything I have? Or am I stopping when it gets uncomfortable? Because if you are stopping when it gets uncomfortable, you are not growing. You are not improving. You're not becoming the person you are capable of being. And if you want to separate yourself, if you want to live at the highest level, if you want to win, you must train yourself to keep going when most people stop. Pushing yourself every day is not just about working harder. It is about expanding your limits. It is about becoming the kind of person who does not just meet expectations, but demands more from themselves than anyone else ever could. It is about setting a new standard for yourself and refusing to accept anything less. Most people set limits in their minds. They tell themselves they can only work so hard, only improve so much, only go so far. And because they believe in those limits, they stop pushing when they reach them. But winners operate differently. They understand that every limit is an illusion, that the ceiling they think exists is nothing more than a mental barrier, and that the only way to break through it is to keep going when their mind tells them to stop. This is why winners constantly push their limits, because they know that if they do not, those limits will define them. If they do not challenge themselves, they will stay the same. If they do not stretch themselves beyond what is comfortable, they will never grow into the person they are capable of becoming. The key to pushing your limits is understanding that the real battle is not physical, it is mental. Your body can handle far more than you think. Your potential is far greater than you realize. The only thing stopping you is the voice in your head that tells you, that's enough. The voice that says, you've done enough for today. The voice that whispers, you don't need to go any further. But that voice is lying. That voice is the enemy. And if you listen to it, if you obey it, if you allow it to dictate your actions, you will stay exactly where you are. You will never grow. You will never break through. You will never become the person you were meant to be. So the question is, are you strong enough to ignore it? Are you disciplined enough to keep going even when everything in your mind is screaming at you to stop? Are you willing to push yourself to the point where you prove, without a doubt, that your limits were never real in the first place? Because that is how winners separate themselves. That is how champions are made. That is how you go from average to elite. And here's something important. Pushing yourself is not about doing it once. It is about doing it every single day. Growth does not come from a single burst of effort. It comes from repetition, from consistency, from showing up day after day after day, no matter how you feel, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what excuses try to creep in. Most people push themselves occasionally. They work hard sometimes. They give maximum effort when they feel like it. But winners make it a habit. They do not pick and choose when to give their best effort. They give their best effort every time. And because of that, they improve faster. They separate themselves quicker. They build the kind of unstoppable momentum that makes success inevitable. Think about the best in the world at anything. They are not the best because they had more talent. They are not the best because they had better opportunities. They are the best because they demanded more from themselves than anyone else ever did. They did the extra reps. They stayed longer. They studied harder. They refused to accept mediocrity. And over time, all of that effort compounded into greatness. Now, here's something most people never realize. Pushing yourself does not just make you better. It makes everything else in life easier. The more you challenge yourself, the more you develop the ability to handle anything. The more you train yourself to push through discomfort, the less anything in life can shake you. The more you stretch your limits, the more confidence you build in your ability to figure things out, to overcome obstacles, to rise above any challenge that comes your way. Winners do not just push themselves because they want to succeed. They push themselves because they want to be ready, ready for whatever life throws at them, ready for any challenge, any setback, any unexpected test of their discipline and mental toughness. And because they have trained themselves for those moments, when those moments come, they do not break, they do not fold, they do not panic, they rise. And that is why they win. The reason most people fail is because they are reactive. They do not prepare. They do not train themselves for discomfort. They coast through life at half speed, hoping things will work out, hoping they will get lucky, hoping success will just show up one day. But winners take full control of their future. They do not leave anything to chance. They do not wait for the perfect circumstances. They create the perfect circumstances by pushing themselves beyond what most people are willing to do. So the real question is, are you waiting for life to push you, or are you pushing yourself? Are you letting challenges surprise you, or are you preparing yourself so that when they come, you are already stronger than whatever life throws at you? Because the winners, the people who dominate in every field, they are not caught off guard. They have trained for the hard times. They have conditioned themselves for struggle. They have built themselves into the kind of person who does not just survive difficulty, but thrives in it. And if you want to be one of them, if you want to be unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable, then you must start now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel like it, right now. Because every moment you wait is a moment wasted. Every excuse you make is an opportunity lost. Every time you tell yourself, I'll do it later, you are choosing to stay exactly where you are. And if you are serious about winning, if you are serious about pushing yourself every day like the great ones do, then you know that the only acceptable answer is to start immediately, to push harder, to work longer, to give more, to prove to yourself day after day that you are built different. Pushing yourself every day is not about working endlessly without direction. It is not about grinding for the sake of grinding. It is about building yourself into the kind of person who can handle anything. It is about training your mind, your body, and your habits to operate at a higher level every single day. Most people misunderstand what it means to push themselves. They think it means running themselves into the ground, burning themselves out, sacrificing everything in pursuit of a goal. But that is not how winners operate. Winners do not just work hard, they work intelligently. They push themselves strategically. They know when to go all in, and they know when to recover. They understand that real success is not about random intensity. It is about relentless consistency. Pushing yourself is about discipline. It is about control. It is about mastery over your own mind. And the most powerful thing you can ever learn is that you are in control of yourself at all times. No matter the circumstances, no matter how you feel, no matter what is happening around you. Because winners do not allow the outside world to dictate how they operate. They do not let emotions, distractions, or obstacles throw them off course. They have trained themselves to stay locked in, focused, and unshakable, no matter what happens. And that is why they win. But here is the truth. Most people will never reach this level. Not because they are not capable, but because they are not willing. They are not willing to sacrifice comfort for greatness. They are not willing to demand more from themselves. They are not willing to push past their own limits. And that is what separates the winners from everyone else. Winners understand that the real battle is within themselves. They know that success is not about beating the competition. It is about beating the old version of themselves. It is about breaking through their own excuses. It's about defeating the weak voice in their head that tells them to stop. Because the truth is, you are not competing with anyone else. Your only competition is who you were yesterday. The only question that matters is, are you better today than you were yesterday? Did you push harder? Did you stay focused longer? Did you take one more step, give one more rep, push through one more time when you wanted to quit? Because if the answer is no, if you did not demand more from yourself today, then you are not making progress. You are staying the same. And if you are staying the same, you are losing. The best in the world do not just work harder than everyone else. They work harder than their past self. They demand improvement every single day. They do not let themselves go through the motions. They do not allow themselves to operate at half speed. They push, they grow, they evolve. And that is why they are unstoppable.